Now, some artists continue to be unhappy with how they've been treated by the Arts and Culture Department in its disbursement of the COVID-19 relief funds. 2 weeks ago, artists were dragged to clear the way for vehicles at the entrance of the Minister of Sports, Arts and Culture, Minister Nathi Mthethwa's Pretoria offices. Let's get clarity on the latest. I'm joined now by Mr. Vusumuzi Mkhize, Director General for Arts and Culture Department, and Ms. Sibongile Mngoma, opera singer and activist. A very good afternoon to both of you. Let me start with you, Ms. Mngoma. Give us a context around what we saw happening outside the offices of the ministers, outside the ministers' offices 2 weeks ago, when there was what looked like an altercation or confrontation between yourselves and police.
Well, we went to the offices of the Department of Sports, Arts and Culture on the Tuesday, the 2nd of November, as a follow-up meeting from the meeting that had happened on the Monday the previous week. And the department actually sent an email late when we were already on our way to Pretoria. Keep in mind that I don't live in Pretoria or Joburg. I live in Bloemfontein. So I was already on my way to Joburg when I got that message. And I said to them, but it's too late now to change. And remember, it was a public holiday. So we said, no, we cannot change the meeting at the last minute. It has to continue. And so when we got there, we found that they locked the building. And as the day progressed, they literally called the police. There were 15 police vehicles outside, including Enyala, for 6 artists that were outside. So it was quite a spectacle that they created so that they wouldn't have a meeting that was scheduled. And in fact, the meeting that they claimed that was had on the 5th was not a follow-up meeting to our meeting, because it did not address any of the matters that were raised on that first meeting.
Director General Mkhize, there was a memorandum of demands that was submitted, and the understanding was that this meeting was supposed to address some of those demands. Why the change of a meeting last minute, and when are those issues that were presented going to be addressed?
Thank you very much, and good afternoon, Ms. Sibongile, and to the viewers and the fellow listeners of Newzroom. Let me indicate that firstly, there was no memorandum that was given to us. The Sibongile and the artists that she came with, they had come without, on that previous Monday she's referring to, without any, they had arrived on a Friday, and there was no communication. We had seen that on the social media, that they had intended to come and have a sit-in until the minister resigned to hand over the letter of resignation to her. And then I only got a call from Mr. Ntombela, who was just calling me, and I was from the netball, the renewal of SAPRAS and the netball SASOL sponsorship in Sentin. So when he called, he did not even indicate that he's calling on behalf of the group which is Sibongile there. He just said, "Where are you?" And I said, "No, I'm not. Why are you asking?" We then indicated to him that, "Look, I'm not in the office. If you say you want to sing, we will make arrangements. You can then come and you will engage on whatever issues." But they were already at the department. So I then said, on my return, we will meet. Indeed, on Monday, because they had decided to block access doors to the building after having spent a night there, and not because we had not intended to meet with them, but because there was no arrangement for such a meeting.
Let me ask you this, DG. One of the requests that have been made by the artists is they've wanted a release, a public release of the forensic report on the mismanagement of the PESP funds. Has that been done?
Yes, the NAC has released the report this weekend, and that I had indicated to Sibongile and to the sector organization as a whole that is the responsibility of NAC. They commissioned the forensic upon the directive by the minister that the minister said that they must do so because there was a concern from the sector, and he had received a whistleblower saying there is something amiss happening there. So minister then instructed NAC in terms of the law because they've got a properly constituted board. So they've done that, and then minister went out to say anything now that you say to me, you have received the report, the public wants to know where you are. Let's have the public informed. Then minister had that joint meeting with the NAC, which then informed the public. Then the further demand was about releasing the report, which, while it's a legitimate request, but there are processes you need to follow when you've got a forensic investigation which mentions people's names who need first to be engaged and follow a legal process.
So let me ask you, Mr. Mkhize, let me ask you, Mr. Mngoma, have you had the opportunity to go through that report and are you satisfied with the contents?
Well, the report is out and there are quite a few concerns around it. There's a lot of things that are not in line with the law, so to speak. Starting with the fact that there's a lot of information that has been omitted from the report, including the fact that there is a whistleblower that has now been implicated in the report, even though the person was a whistleblower. So there was a lack of protection for whistleblowers, and there's a lot of contravention of the acts that govern that institution itself. And that report, when you go through it, is very one-sided in that it looks like it's trying to make the NAC come out looking better than what they have done. And as a result,
Mr. Mngoma, I do apologize. We have very short on time. But I guess the important question here, Mr. Mkhize, is when will the meeting take place where the artists are able to sit down and table their concerns, especially now that they have gone through the report, which is unsatisfactory to them?
We are meeting with the sector, the two federations on Monday, and I'm hoping that that is sister and the Southeast, and we will continue to have then the engagement. If they've got issues about the report, I think there are processes that they can follow. If the whistleblower feels that is being targeted, this country has got policy on whistleblower protection, and the whistleblower will be advised to follow those processes of the law so that she clears or he clears his or her name. But to say the report is one-sided is maybe inaccurate, because the report does deal with the issue of even the CEO. I think, as you can see, processes of disciplinary processes have been undertaken. And it does also raise issues about the board members who have participated in the process, and therefore report says they contravened the policy of NAC.
DG, we're going to unfortunately have to leave it at that for this afternoon, but we will keep abreast of all the developments. In just one word, Ms. Mngoma, will you be at that meeting on Monday?
I'm definitely going to be there.
All right, and we'll be following up. Thank you both for your time.